What's up? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let's get down to the situation. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, y'all. So let's get into this whole situation. Let's talk about College Hill, okay? They really dropped the ball on this episode of College Hill because everyone tuned in because y'all guys promoted that Amber Rose and Joseline Hernandez was going to have an altercation. It was going to be war. It was going to be this. They was going to be swinging. They're going to be swanging and banging and thanging. And all of that was cut out. We didn't see anything. There was nothing. Only thing we did see was Amber Rose reach and hit Joseline, okay, while Joseline was sitting down. And then on top of that, we have the Black University basically says that they do not tolerate violence. So maybe that's why they didn't show it. But then don't promote the whole season about Amber Rose and Joseline getting into it if you ain't even going to show them even being separated or whatever the case is. How Joseline defend herself, how Amber Rose defend herself. It was like, okay, y'all sold us a dream. Like this was beyond a cliffhanger. We didn't get nothing. We still hanging. Like what's going on? We got Joseline. She's over there on a drink chance, and she basically saying that she mollywopped Amber Rose, and she also states that she feels like the women in the house, were kind of not feeling her because of the way that she was dressing. And also she said the women in the house identify or act more as far as they want to be, Caucasian. So she's saying basically the girls that act like they didn't have no black soul, okay, and she was the only one with the black soul. I was like, Joseline, come on. So, Joseline was like, I am a black Puerto Rican, and that's what I identify as, and I'm not confused and I'm not lost like Amber Rose. She said she made a decision, she made a choice. She's from a Spanish speaking country and she identified as Spanish black. Okay, I was like, Lord, what is going on? So Joseline is out here, she is on her pro-black march, okay? And so we get to the classroom and we have Orion, which is Marianne's brother, and he's basically talking about segregation because that's what the teacher's talking about. And he says he feels like segregation, we should have waited, black people should have waited and build more, become one of a unit, just more of a foundation, more of a plan, more of, just gathering and building together before integrating, okay? And so no one said anything about what he had to say. Everybody was cool with what he had to say, okay? They was like, oh, they didn't say anything. But when it came to Joseline, and then Joseline basically gave her opinion on the situation, and they was not feeling it because Joseline said, I wish we can go back to segregation, and also, I wish we could have it like Wakanda. She said, I wish we can go back to that. You know what I mean? So basically, if segregation was going on today, and Amber Rose will have a choice, and if she wanted to choose, whether she wanted to go to a black school or a white school, she'll be able to choose because that 1% drop of black, a lot of people don't go by that anymore, or maybe they still do, but whatever it is, it's the Caucasians, the ones that are a part of the dominant society, is probably as far as, supremacy, would basically say that since you got a drop of black blood, you cannot go to the Caucasian school. So in any event, it's not black people doing this or making these rules up against her, as the people that she wants to identify with more, or basically let people know that she is part Caucasian, that she should be able to go to both schools. So once Joseline said that, everybody kind of like got upset, and Amber Rose, she kind of got upset about the situation, basically saying that if segregation was to happen, then I would have to go to a black school because my mother has black blood, so that the 1% drop rule, and then I would not be able to go to school with my white family. That would be a slap in the face. And so the part is like, what do you think is a slap in the face, Amber? Is it a slap in the face that you can't go to the white school? Is it a slap in the face that the choice is already made for you? Or is it a slap in the face because you don't have black family? Because I would think she would say, I would enjoy going to a black school with my black family, but also I'm going to miss out with my white family as well. It was just like going to the black school is a slap in the face. Maybe she didn't articulate herself well as far as she will be upset because they're making a choice for her. It just automatically seemed like what about my white family? It's not like I'm gonna enjoy my black family, but I'm gonna miss my white family. So we didn't get that from her, and she took it like, oh, Joseline, you're trying to do this. And then K-Way, E-Way, he basically said, how would Amber feel, and this and that, because she said that. But it's like Joseline cannot have her opinion, and Joseline has nothing to do with the 1% rule. It's your ancestors that has to do with that particular rule. So in any event, so I was like, it was getting hot in here, okay? It was getting hot in the whole classroom situation. And then moving on to that, the teacher was talking about Langston Hughes, the famous black poet, and a poem that he actually wrote. And it was about encouraging black women. And then Joseline was able to dissect that poem and understand it. I was like, oh my God, I am so surprised, when it comes to Joseline, that she's able to do that. And so she did. And then she was like, oh, he's writing a poem for, black people, black women, people with melanin, people with color, because they're not always told that they are beautiful. And then the teacher responded and said, yes, because when it comes to Western society, they always put Western up as beauty and not black as beauty. So this is why he wrote the poem. And that's when Joseline jumped in and said, well, Western society beauty is not beauty, it's black beauty is better. And so Joseline basically piggyback off the teacher, and Amber Rose and other people in the classroom feels like Joseline was taking a shot at Amber Rose, and because she's mixed. But Amber Rose is also saying that she don't know what she identify as, and once she finds out what she identify as, she'll let Joseline know what she identifies as, or the case may be. I don't think that Amber Rose wants to identify, or maybe she do want to identify, and she has to pick one, and she don't want to publicly pick one, but Joseline picked it for her. And the way that she described, like a slap in the face, it sounded like she wants people not to forget about her white side. But I don't think people have forgot about her white side, because when we see it, we see it. You know what I mean? We're not blind. So in any event, moving on from that situation, think things of that nature. And Joseline could have said, black is beautiful and blase in the third, and she didn't have to down, white beauty or whatever the case is. But I believe Joseline was piggybacking off of the teacher, because the teacher said Western beauty basically kind of condemned black beauty. So then Joseline, basically clapped on that and basically said, oh, Western beauty is not beautiful than black beauty, and I don't care who has anything to say about the whole situation. And basically that put Amber against the wall, because basically she wants to defend the white side of her, and she's taking it really like hard, and she's taking it like you're attacking me, and she has to defend the Caucasian side of her. So is she making a choice? Because she said she don't know what she is, so she's making a choice to defend the white side of her, and that's nothing wrong with that as well. But it doesn't seem like she's defending any black side of her, because it seemed like she's really like at Joseline's throat, because Joseline is saying that she's black. Joseline is saying black is this and black is better. But even though it is crushing maybe to Amber, because she's part white, and then so you disrespecting that other side of me, so now I gotta fight. And I don't think she needed to take that approach with Joseline. I think she should have took the approach of, I love both sides of me. Yes, black is beautiful, black is gorgeous, and then also white is beautiful and white is gorgeous too. Kept taking it like a personal attack, like Joseline was basically trying to dig at her white side. Joseline said, Western beauty sucks. I hate to say it for the whiteies out there. And then someone said, well, and she goes, oh, well, Amber Rose, she is not, whitey, she's mixed. And so therefore, Amber basically took offense to the whole situation. And then Joseline says, well, I don't really consider her white. I consider her black. But Amber Rose is considering, oh, you are downing my white side, so you basically against me. And Joseline is like, girl, you black. And Amber Rose is like, I'm both, or right now I have to defend my whiteness. And so now she's, Amber Rose basically says that her back is up against the wall. So in any event, moving on from that situation, they're basically telling Joseline, why did you, say the whitey whites if they don't, think that black beauty is better than white beauty, then she don't care. And so that whole point, and then Joseline said, well, don't down me because of what I said. This is freedom of speech. Now, if you don't like my freedom of speech, then you need to go change the Constitution. And so I was like, OMG. So Amber, she leaves because she's going to, snap. And Joseline, that you don't fit into these spaces or that spaces. And she said basically she grew up in a Spanish speaking country, Puerto Rico. And at this point, she considered herself to be a black speaking Spanish, or a black Spanish woman, or black Spanish, or black Hispanic, or Afro Latino. That's what Joseline said, that she actually made a choice, because Joseline said that she didn't want to be in between both worlds or anything like that. Like, she just chose. And she said basically when it comes to Amber, that she is confused and she's trying to please the black side, she's trying to please the white side. But basically Joseline is saying that she only sees that Amber is catering to her Caucasian side because she's only defending her Caucasian side and she's not defending her black side. And so a lot of people are saying that they feel like Amber Rose, she did pick a side and she picked the white side and she just needs to stand up. And when Joseline called her like, you a black girl, she could have said, no, I'm a white woman. You know what I mean? Because she is a white woman. She's a white woman and a black woman. She mixed. Okay, so it is what it is. And then Joseline says to Amber Rose, like, you give me so much black more than you give me white. And I don't know if Joseline is meaning that like, you look black or you act black or you support black or whatever the case is. Or maybe she's saying that, you look black, and maybe is Amber Rose taking to offense that she's being told that she looks black, or she doesn't want to be told that she looks black. Maybe she doesn't want to be told that she looks white. But when she said that she looks black, it was just like it seemed that she was getting more offensive because maybe she's considering it as racism because she's part white. But it also seemed like it really angered her more, and I just wondered if she was said that, oh, you look white, would she have the same anger or the vitriol towards Joseline about what Joseline is saying, because Joseline is ultimately trying to identify her as something, and Amber Rose really don't want to be identified. She wants to be Amber Rose. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that whole situation. Yes, Joseline did too much. Joseline definitely was picking. Joseline definitely wanted with her because Joseline already felt like the girls in the house was not feeling her. She already felt like the girls in the house were acting or wanting to be or really didn't identify with their culture or their nationality. You know what I mean? So in any event, so she's picking and she's poking, and Joseline feels like what's going to poke this girl since she's acting, or Joseline feels like she wants to be more Caucasian than black, or she wants to be considered Caucasian. Joseline basically is just said, okay, since you want to be that, I'm gonna call you something that you don't like. I'm gonna call you a black woman. I'm gonna say you more black than black. And if so, and so Joseline is trying to get under her skin. And Joseline is trying to poke her because Joseline feels like she doesn't want to identify as black. Okay, and Joseline feels like she should. Child. And then once Joseline Hernandez basically said to Amber Rose that you don't want to be black, you want to be white, and that's your problem, is you don't want to consider yourself as black. Amber Rose really got upset, and she was acting like she was walking out the classroom, and she turned around and she swung on Joseline, and we don't know what happened because we didn't see it, okay? Because BET basically did us dirty and did us wrong, but Amber Rose definitely walked up there and swung on Joseline first. Joseline said that she finished her. Some of Amber people said that Amber won, but I believe Joseline won in the whole situation, and it's wrong for Amber Rose to put her hands on Joseline, and we know Joseline has a very bad history of putting her hands on people and also on Joseline Cabaret and everything else. But at this point, she was really trying to, go back and forth with a person in classroom. She was really trying to go back and forth with Amber, but she was using Amber's race, and Amber took offense to it, and it is what it is. So it went down like that. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think Joseline is wrong? Do you think Joseline is right? Or you think Amber Rose was upset because Joseline was trying to identify her, making her choose, making her pick, or basically, down in her Caucasian side because Amber Rose, identify as, I guess, Caucasian because she was defending Caucasian a whole lot. So, and her black side, I guess she already knows that's a given. And so Joseline, she just felt like Joseline was bullying her. So y'all tell me what y'all think about the whole situation. Yeah, it definitely went down between these two. Joseline was definitely picking, but if Amber Rose would have been cool and she understood who she was and everything of that nature, I don't think that she would have had to put her hands on Joseline. She could have basically just communicate, because Amber always talks about communication, being ladylike, doing this, doing that, and you don't have to use violence and all that other stuff. And basically she started swinging on Joseline. She could have, got her point across, and it could not have been Joseline she was trying to get her point across. She could have tried to get her point across for the women that are biracial and face these different things, and basically talked it out and made Joseline look like Joseline was, picking, and she could have went back and forth, but she didn't. She put her hands on Joseline. Joseline got kicked off the show, and Amber Rose is staying there. And basically people calling it that Amber Rose used her privilege to stay on the show and actually claim victim, y'all.